eye set and just put in some bigger screws. Oh, sorry, you might not have heard anything on that, so sorry. Um, just I guess I'm just supposed to get some bigger screws, and that's how we're gonna do it. So I went to the hardware store. I got some stuff. I got a tap for a 1/4 inch. This is originally, I think it was a 5 millimeter. Um, so this one's definitely stripped. So I'm gonna take this apart real quick, and you can see I rigged this so um, I rigged this so they just stuck some bolts through it, but that's pretty bad. Uh, so loosen these up. I put some airline, the kind of nuts that have the plastic in them. So this might actually take a while to get off of here. But I didn't want them coming loose, that was for sure. I actually bought a new tool set. Maybe I'll just use that. I need I bought some new, yeah, what did I do? I bought some kind of new bobbers. Oh, they're not metric. I don't think this is gonna work. All right, well, that's okay. For some reason, I was at the hardware store. I bought a tool set that probably won't really do me any good, but these little stubby guys. And what I really need is my regular tool kit that has all these wrenches in them. Funny what basic tools that I don't have, and it's not that I don't have them; it's that I'm kind of constantly moving between places, my car, fixing my bike up, whatever. So, yes, it's gonna be kind of a pain for a second, but sorry about that. That's pretty boring, huh? Get this a little bit of angle. This keyboard out. Okay. Oh, yeah, so I have this going live because I know there's some people who wanted to talk to me about some stuff. In fact, see, this would be a good time. There's a guy, a drummer I want to talk to. Let me just tag him real quick. Second. Um, Here's my. I think I'm being throttled right now. It's running really kind of slow. So. All right, where is my? There we go. Let's see if I can get a hold of this guy. So yeah, if you get a chance, Luke, come on here. I'd like to talk to you about some stuff. You don't have to talk to me in the chat, but I can answer whatever questions you're. Okay, so let me get back to this. Yeah, if I had the proper wrench right here, which would be I think a 10 millimeter wrench, which I've got bajillions of in my car, because that's a very common size in the BMX world. Once these get close enough, I might be able to get a ratchet on them anyway. Cross your fingers. Yeah. Oh, it's just too big. Oh, this might work. Okay. Doesn't quite fit on there, but fits on there enough to actually do something. Yeah, I really need I got a bunch of these, especially for working on guitars. This is really handy. I need to get some 10mm ones, so I might be able to get a 10mm socket on here pretty quick. This is actually way better than using the wrench or the pliers, so, or using the crescent wrench or the pliers. If I had the right wrench, this would be no problem. But they say it's floating around in my car someplace. Um, 10mm. Oh man, how are you supposed to get this thing out? Hold on. I got like a ratcheting screwdriver that I can't get out of the package. Okay. Now, this might actually speed things up significantly. Oh yeah. Yay. I still got to take the, okay, so that's, gotta get this further up there so the socket can reach it. Then I still got to unscrew it. Oh, my arm is locking up. Shoot. Sometimes I can't twist too much or that happens. It happens when you get old, I guess. Hopefully I have a charged up battery for the drill. Otherwise this is going to be very unfun. But if this works, man, I just got some life out of these. And I just ordered some of those Tama like lug locks. I'm gonna try them out. If they work good, I'm gonna get a lot more. I'm gonna put them on all the drums. Oh man, yeah, my arm is just completely worthless now. Shoot. Let's see if I can get these out of here without too much trouble. Not looking promising. I almost want to just snap them out of there, but boy. I should take this memory lock off. Of course, I have 1,000 drum keys, but none right here when I need one. No, there's like 20 on my desk. Here we go. And as soon as I get this off, I'll show you the problem. Boy, this is most boring. Sorry about that. No exciting exploding drums and showing neat mix techniques or anything. This is just as dull as it gets, but welcome to my world. So like I say, if you want to be part of this glorious thing, you got to know all this stuff. Or you got to be made out of money. You can just pay somebody else to do this, and or not even do this because you got so much money, you just have somebody build something for you. But a bit more frugal than that. Oop. What a pain. You know, I just realized that I should have gotten socket caps instead of, you know, Allen wrench type stuff instead of screws. just because of this problem right here. This is gonna suck, and if I miss drill these, oh boy, I'm like misalign them. So I'm got to think about this actually. And really only going up, not going up a millimeter. I'm going up a little bit more than that. 1/4 inch is bigger than 6 millimeter. You know, like back in the day, if you're running BMX stuff, the TNT, for instance, the American stems were often used 1/4 inches instead of 6 millimeters for their for your handlebars, right? So keep your handlebars tight in the stem, and if you use the 1/4 inch or you use a 6 millimeter Allen wrench, you would strip out your 1/4 inch stems and get yelled at for it. But not like I always ever did that or anything, or constantly did that. It's funny, this thing's so stripped out, and yet when I go to take it apart to fix it, it's really hard to, it's acting like it was holding just fine, but it really wasn't. And like I said, I'll show you the problem in a second as soon as I get this. I'm just wearing myself out on this. Oh, yeah, see, it's just pushing right through. That's a total waste of time. Okay, let me get this last one off. Maybe this one's holding. Seems to be spinning this one too. Might just be able to hammer these out of here. Or I could tighten down on this ball and make it pop out, but actually I don't think that's going to happen. See, I got to keep some pressure on here in order to even get this to come out, I guess. Oh, man. What a pain. See, it's acting like it's stripped until you need it to come out, and then it's acting like it's nice and I like my hammer. All right. So this one's acting like it's in there too. I'm gonna get a real hammer. Okay, warning for anyone on headphones. I think I got a compressor on here, so it might not matter, but okay. That's when you know it's stripped, right? And you just hammer it right through. Look at that. Okay. So here's the problem. It's just such bad metal. I don't know if you can see. Yamaha, come on, you know better than this. So the way this thing works is this ball's in here, and you clamp it down with this guy, and then you loosen it or tighten it with this wing nut right here. And this side is threaded, and it's made out of the thinnest, crappiest metal you could imagine, and it just strips out. I'm going to retap this, but I have a feeling, oh, I didn't buy any cutting fluid, shoot. I'm not sure that that's going to matter, but, so I'm going to retap this. I got to make this big enough to fit these 1/4 inch screws that I got. There's so much other stuff I should be doing right now, but I've got to get a little bit more serious about recording around here. So one of the things I need is reliability and ergonomics. I need my stuff working when I go to grab it. So this is part of what I'm going to do to fix that. I might give this some Loctite actually. So I got to fit this screw in this hole. So yeah, we're going to have to open these up. And I have a tap handle somewhere. Now, the real question I got right now is whether or not I should drill these by having the, should I drill straight through this thing? Or should I drill it each part separately. I don't really know a way to hold them steady either way. And here, I hate this. I wish, you know, I need a toolbox thing with, in fact, I have something. I should just put little things like this in so I don't have to look for them all the time. I got this little box right here. That's what I'm going to use this for. Perfect. Self-correcting problem. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so do these first. Okay, well that's disturbing. That went through very easy, and there's no way this bolt is fitting through there. I guess I need to make these holes a little bit bigger. Let me see what I got. Guess I should have thought this through a little bit better. Not sure that I have anything bigger than a 1/4 inch. And I don't. Okay. Well, that's a problem. Gonna do a little bit of creative blasphemy. You know, I could tap them both, but that's not a very good idea. This really should flow freely through. Yeah, so what do I need? I need something bigger than a 1/4 inch, 5/16 drill bit. I'm sure I got one somewhere, but I don't know where I would. Just hoping I can open these holes up at the 1/4 inch. Okay. Not really. Okay, let me see if I have some more drill bits. And I need to find my tap and die. Oh shoot! You know, I ordered some soldering tips for my welder. Yeah, where is that? That should have been here in the mail by now. I had some spares I didn't know about. Oh, here we go. 5/32, 3/16, 7/32. So that's, what is 7/32? No, that's smaller than a 1/4 inch. Shoot. Ah. Now I've got a step drill. I don't know that this is something I want to use on this, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. See. Might actually work. I've got 3 different step drills. Let's do some experimenting. Probably a very bad idea, and I'm putting metal chunks all over the place, so I'm actually going to do this over my garbage can. Oh shoot, I was drilling the wrong side. Oh my god, I might have just completely ruined this whole experiment here. Oh well. Oops. Not bad. Okay, that might work. It's better. So this one, maybe. See. Not really all that much material to work with here, so Battery's dying right when I need it. Okay. Well, I really hope I didn't ruin the other side of this. Yeah, let me see if I got another battery. Hopefully I charged this thing before I put it back. I think I did. No. This one is totally dead. All right. You know what I should do is back in the day I always had so many files. I'd just throw a file in there and be done with it. Oh, crap. Yeah, this isn't ideal. I need an extension. Oh. Well, I do have an extender. Where did I put it? Right here. This might work a little bit better. Oh man, this drill's not got much battery. I gotta stick with this 1/4 inch, I think. I used to have so many files that this would be no problem at all just to file it out, especially with how crappy this metal is. But I don't know if I have one right now. Let's see who this is. All right, looks like I got some tech support to do, but I'm really determined to get through this thing. I really should just go get a 5/16 drill bit from the hardware store. It's kind of stupid what I'm doing right here, but you know when you got a hard head. I really need to get new files. You know, I used to have so many files for every single thing that I could be doing. A lot of guitar work. You know, I used to scalp my necks with files and everything. Yeah, this is kind of stupid. And the battery's dead, so yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go get 5/16 inch file. No, really, if it's a 1/4 inch, how does a 1/4 inch? If this is really a 1/4 inch bolt, why wouldn't a 1/4 inch drill bit work? Oh, unless. Wait a second. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Hold on. Okay. Let me just check something right now, and I might have to smack myself. They probably had like a 3/16 bit, not a 1/4 inch. What a dummy I am. Yep. Okay. Yeah, all that battery that I used up, I could have just done it with this and it would have been fine. Now I got no battery. Oh. Of course they did give you an undersized bit for this. Oh, why am I such a meathead? All right, there we go. All right. Now we're in business. Now I'm probably going to put a hole in my hand, but oh. Of course, there's no battery. Ah. So I'm hoping I didn't way strip the other things. I can still just get a bigger bolt, I guess. Well, hell. Okay. Well, let's let this battery charge for a second. Let's see what else we got going here today. Turn off this GoPro. Let's see what's going on the other side here. Do some tech support. Let's see what we got. Supposed to have some new builds of multiband gate today, and boy, I would love that. Let's see, Lucas Weinhold. December 27th, I bought a drum producer pack. I didn't make it to try it recently, but I couldn't register. Oh, let me fix this for you. Copy email address. So yeah, you guys, if you ever have any trouble with any of our products, I'm speaking from the AIX DSP side, do not hesitate to email right away. I mean, this is like with Reaper, man. I'm going to get right back to you as quick as I possibly can. And even though I have crap all over my desk, I am going to respond to you as fast as I can. So, whoever this is, Lucas, or what's your name? Lucas. Lucas, your stuff is coming in just a second. So let me find your order and I'll send you your passwords and everything. There we go. Drum producer pack. Here are your downloads and keys. Use. Your email to register them. Here's the email to register them. Okay. So I don't like to leave people waiting if I can help it. So who is this? Demo, multiband gate demo, no Windows 64-bit version installing. Oh yeah, see, this guy's still waiting. Okay, where's I'm gonna go check with my guys real quick and see if we got a build. Um, my programmer that's in Vietnam might be gone already. Oh boy, hold on 1 second. Hello, Kylo, music school. Hey. Okay, someone looking for gear. Yeah, there's always something. You know, my cousin's been doing a lot of the PA stuff lately. So this screen over here, I've been doing what I can to match different amplifiers to each other, and pretty well. You can talk about that if you want. What was I? Okay, what else was I doing? Oh, I got to get my 2-band gate. So I'm just I have to message my team. Let's see, does it say Gavin's sleeping? Yeah, shit. Oops. No, so he's supposed to use that. Oh, ship. Okay. So I'm gonna have to call on the. I'm gonna have to call for my builds. We're supposed to have a build out like a month ago, and we kept getting pushed off for some reason. But all you guys waiting on the next multi-band gate. It's coming. It should have been out this morning. Let's see. Well, I can't do anything about that. Okay, let's hope that. I know this isn't going to be very charged up, but let's see if it charged at all. It was my fault for not leaving that battery charging. I should have. I don't know why I took it off the charger. All right, there we go. Oh, come on, just a little bit more. Ooh, that might be it. We may be in business. Yay, okay. Okay, now, I might have widened the other side out too much. Let me put the GoPro back on. Let's see. Okay. 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 So, I didn't buy cutting fluid. I need to do that. Here's my all my taps. So I'm gonna put these all in this little box here now. This is yeah, okay. I gotta organize all my guitar tools. Ooh, I do have files. Oh, I totally forgot I had files. Dummy. See, this is why I gotta organize everything. I'm looking for my tap handle. really need to organize better somehow. I don't know how. Like, no matter what, it just never seems like there's enough space. I know a lot of you guys know that problem. And why is it that tap handles never really tighten up enough? Always seem to barely be grabbing what you need them to grab. So here's my tap handle. And for all I know, I already had a 1/4 inch. I might actually might have just bought this for nothing, but it's okay. Now I have the professional Irwin version, right? Okay. So, oh, you know what? I don't think I had one this big. Okay. And it doesn't hold in this tap handle? Maybe. So I already drilled these out with the wrong bit. So we're going to see if this even holds. You know, without cutting fluid, this is a little bit sketchy. But this metal is so bad that it might actually be okay. It's just red a little bit. I don't want to break the tap off in there. You substitute for cutting fluid. You can break fluid, right? But this metal is so bad. That's incredible. Come on, Yamaha, you can do better. Let's see what I got in my car. I could use Tri-Flow, right? I mean, that's got to be a good one. Yeah. Let me go get. Be right back. All right. Sorry about that intermission. I got some Tri-Flow, and that should make me feel a little bit more safe about this. I don't know how different cutting fluid is, but I have a feeling this should be okay-ish. It's just that it's so slimy. Drop some along the groove and see if it actually goes in there. Ah, I got it on my fingers. Dang it. It's not what I wanted to happen. I don't like how hard I'm twisting this. I feel like I'm going to break the tap or the cheap, crappy metal here. Wonder if I should re-drill this. I don't really want to re-drill now that I got a threads cut into it though. Shoot. Oh, those look beautiful. Oh, nice. It's just the end of this, it really feels hard. I don't want to hurt anything. I am going to re-drill on the other ones. Oh, I don't like pulling it that hard. Shoot. Oof. Oh my god. Hello? Hey. Hey. Oh yeah. No, you should talk to him about that, and you know you should be talking to him all the time anyway. I mean we need way more content to get on the radio and stuff, and you guys got it, so you should be. Do you have his number? Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, call him up, man, because you guys should be talking anyway for other stuff. Cool. All right. Okay. All right. So you in this music business, man, it's really important to be. I hate the term networking because these multi-level marketing pyramid scheme frauds have really poisoned the name. But you do need a network when you're doing music. You gotta know where your gear is. You gotta know who to talk to for this thing, that thing, whatever. There's a lot of moving parts, and you have to know who to talk to. Really important. And I really don't like getting metal shards all over the place. There's so many things that get destroyed easily from this, but I don't really have the ideal working environment. But you know, I'm not going to complain. This is way better than what I ever dreamed I'd have. So just got to bear with it. You know, some things don't work right. Oh man, I'm so scared of breaking this. It's almost through. I think this tri-flow is actually helping a lot. Oh, look at that. That's the end of it. Poking through. Yeah, a lump of metal come out. Yeah. Today is Hawaiian Food Day over at Times. So you guys might not know, but I didn't really have an appreciation for Hawaiian food. I mean, there's some stuff I liked. I always liked Kalua pig and stuff, but I didn't really have an appreciation for it until I hadn't been around for like 20 years. And there's this places in Arizona that would have like Aloha Kitchen in Mesa, Arizona, and some other places that had it. And once I ate it, I'm like, wait, I like this stuff. So now I love Mondays over at Times Supermarket in Kailua. They have a big old Hawaiian food plate. So you can get lau lau, Kalua pig, comes with lomi lomi salmon, and I think most of you guys know I can't stand fish, but for some reason I'll eat that. That's like all the fish I'll eat, but and it's only a tiny little bowl, but I still eat it. So that's something. And I know fish is way better for you than most of the stuff I eat, but so I need to eat more of it. Okay, so here we go. Here's the test. Oh, look at that beautiful Beautiful. Let's see how the trouble is I don't want this too loose because I don't want this coming loose. So maybe I shouldn't get the tri-flow in here because I'm gonna need to I'm gonna really want to Loctite this, I think. Yeah, this is way too easy to get through there. Um, I'm not sure what eats tri-flow. I can't remember if it's alcohol, maybe. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this again with the tap, with the drill bit, just in case I wasn't in case I didn't bore it out enough. Yeah, this doesn't feel right. This is not much. Not much battery. You know, I'm just do this with a hand drill. This metal is so bad. See if there's enough battery. I keep popping it back on the charge after being charging for like a minute. Not gonna do much, but I was wrong. Okay. So then the real question next is going to be if you can get rid of tri-flow with rubbing alcohol. Because if so, that'd be really nice. Because man, it's just nasty. Soap. I don't want to use soap. Okay, so you guys just saw me drill that one out. So hopefully it's going to work a little bit better this time. Get some tri-flow on the tap. Put it right on the grooves. Okay. So I'm going to try the middle one. Okay, so far, so good. So what? I don't know how clean I'm supposed to keep these cutting threads. Wish I had a way to hold this. I don't know if this T-handle will let me. Might end up doing something I don't want to do because of this, but let's see. Can't tell if the cutting threads have been damaged or if there's just metal shrapnel on here. Looks like I'm about a third of the way to half of the way through. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot to grab the Loctite while I was out there. I have some red Loctite, but I don't know that I should be using that. Actually, find out. Um, okay, I don't need to know. How do you clean? Spill triflow on my front disc pads. Cleaning triflow off, yeah. Um, alcohol. I mean, I don't know what to ask. How do I remove triflow? Wash off? Yeah, this is. You guys see how bad Google is getting nowadays, right? It's just useless. How do you wipe off? It's all ads. Yeah, YouTube, Google, they're so useless now. Oh well. Okay, so that's completely useless. All right. Well, I'll just try alcohol and hopefully it'll work. Okay, so now there's the last one. I don't know how badly I really want to do the other one of these. I'm so worn out already. Just this one. Ridiculous. Oh, this one's trying to cross thread. Trying to get this straight. I'm a little afraid I might have made it so I won't be able to loosen up the T-handle. So here I am trying to figure out how to get TriFlow off while I'm still adding more. Just how, like most things in life, everything you're doing is at odds with itself, right? Like you're trying to do the thing and the opposite of the thing at the same time, always. Definitely, I know I have some Loctite red in here, but I think I have Loctite blue in the car. I'll go look for that in a second. It's feeling really yucky. I'm not sure why. I've got metal shavings everywhere. It's not a good thing. I really need to organize in here better. It's just no space. Oh, that's feeling hot. All right, it's almost out though. Oh, I think that's coming. Yay. So I should have a brush, like a wire brush. I don't think I have one. That would be the ideal thing to have to clean this up. Let's see. Got an old sock. It actually works surprisingly well. Okay. Getting alcohol and everything, hoping that'll, if you ever use Tri-Flow, you're a bike rider or whatever, this stuff is like, it's amazing, it's magic, but man, when it gets on you, it's hard to get off. And I really want to use Loctite on here. So I'm gonna go grab my Loctite. I'm gonna stick this together. First things first, I'm gonna go get the Loctite. Somehow I'm gonna have to loosen this up, which I'm not looking forward to. Let's see if I can do that right now, actually. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Never mind. Oh, crisis averted. All right, for that, had to find my Loctite. Just cleaning the screws off with alcohol. Oh man, now I got shavings. I'm covered in metal shavings. Shoot. Dropped it into the garbage can. Not sure if I'm going to be getting iron in my diet today, but I will be eating chrome, apparently. See the things I do for ungrateful. Just do with the other screws. Yeah, I really need some organizational help. So I'm going to drop Loctite in there. This is a pretty small bolt, so this Loctite might be a little bit much, actually. And I can see the alcohol on it. I don't know how well this is going to work. Just drop them all in real quick. Ooh. Well, I don't know if I thought that one through enough. Oh, no, that should still be okay. See, it's not perfectly straight. There's a chance that this might be a little bit too crooked to even work. So it's going to take some finagling. Maybe a little bit of a tricky operation here. Guess I better make sure I don't forget to put the ball in. Need a couple more hands. You know what I need is a bench vise. I almost got one when the neighbors were moving out, but I think I could have afforded it. So this, the fact that this isn't perfectly straight might actually make some serious trouble coming up here. But oh, speaking of serious trouble, I forgot to put the thing in that makes this actually tighten up. So that was a big oops. Yep. Hopefully this Loctite ain't drying up yet. This is not ideal. I guess add a drill press to the tools that I'd love to have that I definitely can't fit in here. Ugh. Ugh. Trying to get this one started. Oh man, it's being a little bit difficult. Come on. Trying to see where it's misaligned. Oh. Well, I think it's catching now. Hopefully this Loctite doesn't start trying to dry up before I get in here. I'm not sure if it will. I'm not sure if the alcohol actually ruined it or not. If it did, the next time I'm going to back it out and just drop the Loctite through these holes right here. I'm sure that'll be good enough. Kind of tempted to do it right now. I'm just going in a bit at a time because I have a feeling that this, because they're not perfectly straight in there, that they're not going to want to tighten up all the way. And if worse comes to worse, I stick these 1/4 inch bolts through and then I put a nut on the other side. And that will definitely hold this together until this metal just snaps. There. Yeah, I'm really wearing myself out. This is crazy. Like, how am I tired from this? I really am. My arms are all mangled. I'm having trouble in this one to... I don't want to strip this head off. Oh boy. Okay, so what can I do? Back this one out a little bit. I don't want to strip these screws, but I also don't want to strip the threads I just made. I wonder why that one doesn't want to close up. It's gonna be easier now that I backed the other ones off. This really feels like it's all the way. Almost feels like it's threading itself. All right, so I'll have to take a hammer to this. Like I said, this could just be because I got them crossed a little bit. Man, if I see somebody mangling my drums after this, there's gonna be a reckoning. Okay, so I have this thing really loose and it's still not cinching up. I'm not sure why. Yeah, only one of these is tight, and it's this one, the one that's not going in. So maybe, no, none of these are tight now. There we go. Now it's pinched up. That's all the way pinched. I guess I should have started that way. And now it won't catch. And that's special. What's that? Is it that late in the day already? 1:30. Wow, I got a very late start to my day. Guess we already got students coming in. This is nuts. You got drum lessons in here? Okay, I'm fixing, I'm re-tapping and threading the tom holders, so hopefully they don't come loose anymore. Yeah, wow, this is way later than I thought it was. This is not quite completely pinched up, but ooh, it's way better than it was. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, I really should have used socket Allen head kind of screw. Oh, is this stripping? I don't know if this is stripping or not. Kind of feels like it. That would really suck. But you know, like I said, if it does strip, I'm just gonna put long 1/4-inch bolts through and stick some nuts on the top, and that ain't going anywhere after that. That's for sure. But I think we're okay. Oh man, what a chore, man. So I'm gonna tighten it down, see what happens. So when these things strip out, when you tighten this down to make the tom stay in place, all these pop out. Oh, you know, that feels pretty solid. All right, so I have another one. Not super thrilled to do it, but I guess no time like the present. May as well get it over with. Yeah, I'd love to have a nicer workbench. Okay, where the memory lock? Okay, that's the other memory lock. Hopefully the battery's charged a little bit by now. But I feel like I've been working on cars all day. I mean, this one's still barely hanging on, but I don't trust it. I mean, like you can see, like this. I guess you probably can't see, but this screw is pretty rounded off. So ideally, I would drill these things so that they'd be straight through. I wonder if I can do that right now. Put a screw in each one. No, that wouldn't work actually. These two outside ones I could do right now though. Oh, but no, it still doesn't work. Shoot. Okay, never mind. I'll just do it like I did the other one. Okay. Let me check on our programmers. No, no build. Sorry. Shoot. Check my tech support. If there's any outstanding issues I gotta get to. Oh, look like it. All right. Well, this is really boring for you guys to watch. So how about we find something to watch? So Glenn Fricker's got something out. Did you guys hear about that $10,000 distortion pedal that we were talking about? I don't know. That just sounds stupid. And then it's Tollman, the guys that believe in the Tonewood stuff. So, okay. John McLucas from what does he call it? Right Pop Music? Is that his channel?
Career. I feel so honored to do what I do, and I feel this obligation. Breaking.
Now this is pretty clickbaity title. Speaking of clickbaity titles, maybe we'll look at one of the other clickbaiters that I can't stand, or let's watch some of these videos. Anyway, so this is his my life's mission in the music industry. Phase 1 starts now. So, John McLucas is on a lot of my same kind of places where I hang out. So I talk to him from time to time. So let's see what he has to say. This one seemed a little bit clickbaity, but maybe not. Let's see what he has to say.
I know that there are groundbreaking songs out there in the world waiting to be told, waiting to be made. And it's my mission to find these songs and help them come to life, regardless of location, access to money or resources, or deep tech savvy. So let's talk about phase 1 of my macro mission. So to take a step back, things are going really, really, really well in my production career. I feel so honored to do what I do. And I feel this obligation or just this hunger to give back.
Make sure I have this up.
In the same way that people have given to me over the years. I could keep doing exactly what I have been doing, but I know that in the past, I would have loved a way to connect with a community and information and people to guide me without it being stuck behind a paywall. And I know there are so many incredible creators who just don't have the access, the information, or the means to get into those circles. And I want to be clear, this is no knock at how anybody does their own thing. This is how I would like to give back. This is my form of giving back. This is how other people give back, and there is no right or wrong. This is my choice, and please separate that from how anybody else operates their stuff. I don't want that to be how it comes across. I know for me, I want my weekly life to contain giving to others without asking for anything back, and that is something that I believe in and I want to start doing now for the rest of my life, and there's no better time to start than now. So there are 3 things that come with phase 1 of my bigger mission here. 1, I made a full-length in-depth production and songwriting course called the Unstoppable Pop Creative, which I was originally going to put out for like $300 to $500, which would have been about right for the market, but I've decided to do a 100% pay what you can. So that means, yes, if you're watching this video and you don't have the means, you don't have the money to support paying for information in this form, please pay nothing for it, and I want to give it to you as a gift. I want nothing in return.
Okay, so let me stop here. Looks like John's made a like a course on writing pop music, maybe recording it, and instead of being paid, it's pay what you can or pay what you want. That's pretty ballsy, John. That's pretty awesome. Let me play that over again.
Pay what you can. So that in-depth production and songwriting course called the Unstoppable Pop Creative, which I was originally going to put out for like $300 to $500, which would have been about right for the market, but I've decided to do a 100% pay what you can. So that means, yes, if you're watching this video and you don't have the means, you don't have the money to support paying for information.
Okay, so this is really cool, but I do want to make a comment. He's right that is about what the market is asking right now, $300 to $500 for these courses. There are so many courses out there by people who have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And, you know, lately I keep talking about this. I'm being asked to really evaluate my personal studio rates. And it is so hard for me to charge more than $15 an hour. I'm sorry. I come from a long time ago. I see guys that don't even have any clue what they're doing, charging $85 an hour, not for the studio, for them. And yeah, it's about time I get up here. But I see so many courses that are just crazy money. And these guys have no idea what they're talking about. And they're acting like experts, you know. Drives me nuts. Sorry, I'm still drilling while we're talking. Hold on. One second. Okay, so that was a cool announcement. He's going to give this thing away. He would like you to pay for it, and let's not make any bones about that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that if the course is any good. I like John. You know, well, we have some differences, I'm sure, but
information in this form, please pay nothing for it, and I want to give it to you as a gift. I want nothing in return. I want you to truly go in there and take advantage of everything that you can and just go make dope stuff and show me the dope stuff you're making. And to be clear, this is not in my business best interest to do this at all. I've been told by quite a few people that it's not a good idea to do, but I have to balance that perspective along with the mission and the goals that I have for myself in the grand scheme over my bottom line, or what's the most profitable move for something. Second thing, I'm launching One Song Away, which is a community focused around pop or modern genres where I will be streaming every single week. We all get to hang out together. I'll be there answering questions as I'm creating. I'll be there answering questions about the stuff y'all are creating as well, which again is part of it. It's about giving perspective and insight to people who may not have the means, or maybe you do have and you can hang out too. Let's all just make dope stuff together. We're gonna have an accountability challenge every single month with incredible giveaways. I already have Slate Digital lined up for the first month, which is incredible, and stuff that you can only get by being a part of that community and participating in the fun, creative challenges that we put forward for you. The third thing is, at least once a month in the community, I will be producing one of the songs that somebody has posted into the community on a live stream. So if you want that to be you and you want to watch me work with your song live and then hand all the stems back to you to go do what you want with, just take it, it's yours, go have fun. Please join that community, because that's the only place that you'll be able to submit your tracks to be chosen for a live stream. And this is just what I would call phase one of my macro mission here. This is the year that for myself, I really want to highly value impact and community growth. And with all the amazing people, the amazing
John
brands.
wants to create some stuff where you guys can help get some songs done that maybe people weren't going to hear because they didn't have any money or something. So that's cool. Also kind of bored of that. So let's see what else we got. Fixing. I really don't like this guy's channel, but let's see what they're talking about. My interface controller broke. So watch these guys play old people music for a while. An hour and 4 minutes.
Misconstructed, but definitely information that's taken out of context by a lot of guitar players and then inflated way out of proportion, because let's keep in mind that the original idea, and so was his original take on the clone video, the TS video, the all the what's the deal with videos that he posted with Behringer pedals.
Let's see. Let's see. Who do we wanna see? Oh, here is let me talk about clickbait now. I'm up and down with this guy. He's actually pretty skilled at doing certain things, but every single video is with clickbait, and then they have the soy face, you know, with the open mouth, and you know, his face got to be showing. He's got some Tonex stuff. The #1 mistake on Tonex, don't do this. 19 minutes. How much you want to bet you could say whatever the #1 mistake is in 1 minute? Let's watch this.
By far, the #1 thing I see people doing wrong, flat out wrong, on the Tonex right now.
Yeah, see this stuff. This is so... Okay. So you see these people complaining about how crappy YouTube has gotten, but there is an algorithm. You know, we recently had a guy from Google come on one of our forums and try and lie to us about how YouTube works. And so there's a lot of people complaining about how long videos are and how rambly they are, and how it's mostly clickbait. It's mostly 30 seconds worth of stuff, but it takes 20 minutes to say. They do that because, okay, for one thing, they wanted to demonetize videos that were below a certain length, which is totally stupid. And this whole thing, like, okay, I don't believe that advertisers are as discerning about whose videos their ads go on. I think people with a lot of views is where advertisers want to put their videos. But YouTube would rather say that depending on this or that content, the advertiser may not want that. And some of that's true and some of it makes sense, but a lot of it really doesn't. And now we had Susan Wojcicki or whatever complaining that videos were getting too long. But they're getting too long because they force people to make like the videos at least 8 minutes or whatever. And so this guy, he's got 20 minutes. He just totally could have said what it was right at the beginning. And they
by far, the #1 thing I see people doing wrong, flat out wrong, on the Tonex right now.
And he just did a cliffhanger. Now, notice that it doesn't say how many dislikes there are anymore. I'm going to give it a dislike anyway, just for doing that. That's just so lame. You know, you obviously made a cliffhanger. I mean, I know TV shows do that. All these crappy reality TV shows do that, but that's what makes them crappy. So let's see if we can get to what it really is.
If you can use EQ to make 1 amp sound completely different by like just moving a little bass up, like just picking a frequency and raising some bass or lowering this, if that's it, let me introduce you to the world's most advanced guitar modeler ever, the Boss G7, because this is this is kind of silly. Let me explain a couple things why I find that to be a very silly argument and why I really think people are just thinking about it wrong. I see a lot of people saying, oh, modeling's better than capture tech or something because it has the modeled EQ. Let's talk about EQ. I'm going to give you 2 reasons why you should always use the Tonex EQ, the modeler.
Wait, what's the #1 mistake? Is that they don't use the EQ? Let's try this again.
Tonex EQ and what they're trying to do or not. Some of the stuff I'm reading. Ugh. Dudes, we got to talk about this. I am absolutely flabbergasted at some of the stuff I'm reading lately about people talking about the Tonex EQ and what they're trying to do or not do with it, okay? So I'm seeing a lot of people on Facebook groups, on forums, and they're saying things like, oh, I don't want to mess with the EQ because I don't want to mess up the capture. I don't want to mess up the sound of the capture. Or the professional, you know, capture guy wanted it to sound like this. Oh, throw all of these ideas away. Throw them all away. I'm seeing people go, well, if I up the mids or I up the treble or I lower the bass or I raise the bass, I'll mess up the capture and I'll make it sound like a different amp. Let me explain something. If you can use EQ to make 1 amp sound completely different by like just moving a little bass up, like just picking a frequency and raising some bass or lowering this. If that's it, let me introduce you to the world's most advanced guitar modeler ever, the Boss G7, because this is this is kind of silly. Let me explain a couple things why I find that to be a very silly argument and why I really think people are just thinking about it wrong. I see a lot of people saying, oh, modeling's better than capture tech or something because it has the modeled EQ. Let's talk about EQ. I'm going to give you 2 reasons why you should always use the Tonex EQ, the modeler EQ, the Kemper EQ, the Quad Cortex EQ, any EQ you should be using. And I'll give you 2 reasons why you do not have to worry about destroying
So is this the
the
number one
integrity of the
mistake?
sound.
Don't do this.
Okay? One thing is,
Don't
let me
not
show you
use
the
the
world's
EQ.
the world's most powerful EQ. It's this right here. This is a speaker. This is a microphone. I view miking a speaker like this. I have mic location. I've talked about this before. I have mic location. I can move it this way.
Yeah.
If I'm here, I'm very bright. I get warmer.
So yeah, when you move a mic a degree, it's more than any EQ you've ever done, ever. You know, I know, hopefully you guys already know that. You know, move the mic at all. Change the distance to the speaker, change the angle to the speaker, whatever. You're making a huge difference. But look at this.
warmer, I get kind of weird and flubby, right? I find mid-range all around here. The other thing I can do is tilt this off axis. Now I've taken my high end down. Do you think my Vox AC30 is not going to sound like a Vox AC30? Of course it will. Doing this doesn't change it to a different amp, but it brings down all the high end. That would be like reducing treble and reducing presence. It really would be like a high shelf. The other thing I can do is this. Here is a low shelf. Here is forward, more bass, more depth. Here's less bass, less depth. This is called proximity effect. The closer I get this, the more bass I get. The further back I get it, the more that bass sort of loses some energy and I get less bass effect and I get maybe a little more true bass to listening. But a lot of times with a small amp, you put it right up here, you get Zep 1, right? You get early Aerosmith. You get the Princeton and the Deluxe that people think is a Marshall because it sounds so rockin', and we use some proximity effect to get there. I would even submit to you that the EQ in your amp is really not what you think it is. Classic Fender Marshall EQ stacks are not very complicated, and I'll tell you why. They're passive.
Oh yeah.
They're not.
There's so much.
Nobody was really doing like a
pair.
no one was building in like a tube parametric EQ into amps.
Okay.
So I mean, quite literally, they're high and low pass filters. Your Fender is the bass and treble control are high and low pass filters. It's just filtering the signal. The more you move it, the more filter on the low end it signals out when you reduce the bass. The more, I mean, if you want to put them at 10, like there's a reason on a Marshall you get the most gain at 10. It's because with everything at 10, there's no filters reducing the signal. But as soon as you dial in that treble, you're actually reducing treble on everywhere from 10 down. That's why the gain goes down. You're taking away signal from hitting the phase inverter, which then breaks up. So, I mean, if you think the low is a low is a high pass filter, the bass is a high pass filter, you're taking away, you're determining where, from which point up, from which point can this point and all the highs after it go up, can they come through? Then on the other side, you've got a low pass filter which is the treble control, and you're deciding which low frequencies all the way up to wherever can come out, and you're pulling that back. And then the mid range is just a volume control. It's the whole signal. And when you put it all the way up, you're getting the whole signal with these two shelves. But when you reduce it, you're reducing the signal. And then these two shelves come in. And then now you have control over what's in the middle, not being affected by these other two. They're not very complicated. Can I even show you something? And a way to think about it? This is your treble control. This is your low pass filter. It's really controls the same thing. If you want a low pass filter, if you want to take that present and treble on your Fender amp,
Not quite.
or
Okay,
maybe
anyway, what the hell are we watching? Well, Plague Site Studios did something.
Welcome back to Plague Side Studios, everyone. Ryan here with IK Multimedia's plug-in answer to the world of guitar gear profiling with Tonex
I mean,
Capture.
everybody's talking about Tonex right now, right? This is like the big thing is this modeling, this capture technology. It's like getting a Kemper or whatever. Let's see. Story. Ooh, I would like to hear about this. How about that? I don't really, back in the day, I used to buy distortion pedals, in the ancient days when you actually used archaic crap like that. And I don't really know the difference between them. I had one that said heavy metal pedal. No. So the Boss had that heavy metal pedal. One time I bought this one, Ibanez, I think, an LA metal pedal. And I really liked that. But I like them all. So let's see. This one's talk about classic hard clippers distortion, Rat, and the DS1, the modern dawn of modern distortion. And what's the difference between that and like the tube screamer that we put in front of everything? I just, as much as I'm like the nonconformist, I pretty much, for the guitar stuff, I pretty much just do what everybody else does. I put the tube screamer in front of a 5150, and then I work on it from there. Sue me.
Hey everybody, Ryan here at Plague Side Studios. Welcome back to Pedalhead. Today, we are taking a fairly exhaustive look at some of the original circuits that would kick off a whole new craze of clipping and distortion design in the late 70s and early 80s. You might call them the three amigos of the classic hard clippers, with the MXR Distortion Plus, the Proco Rat, and everybody's favorite Boss Distortion DS1.
What's really crazy is when I remember back in the day, you bought a distortion pedal. It distorted like crazy. And then now when I try them out in these modelers, like the distortion barely distorts. And I don't know if it's modeling them wrong or if I'm doing it wrong or something, but they all seem, it's just really weird. I expected this serious distortion. You barely get any. I don't know what's going on. Let's see if maybe this video will tell us more about it. Something when you're talking about, like, especially, you got to level your presets so that they sound pretty much the same volume when you're on stage. How do you determine that? You can't do it by peak level. Lately I've been kind of picking like 800 hertz or 1 kilohertz and kind of leveling them off that way. That doesn't work perfect. I used to use the Ulean loudness meter to set these levels. That also doesn't really work perfect, but yeah, it's really crazy to think about. And you just heard this. He may think that these are the same volume, and they may be in some way. But you heard how much quieter the DS1 was than the Rat right there, right? Very different.
On this series alone, and that doesn't even include videos outside the series, we have talked to absolute death about soft clipping, the various ways you can tune the clipping profile, what it sounds like, what it looks like on a waveform analysis, how pedal designers make some soft clipping overdrives more transparent than others, how you can change the clipping structure based off of what solid state components you use, the effect of adding
I'd like to know about these, so let me see about that actually. I need to watch Tone Junkie. Let's see if it's on the playlist.
How much would you...
Yeah, why do clone centaurs each cost $3,000? Because people are nuts. I'll just answer that one for you. Pedalhead. Okay, here. This is the one.
Hey everybody, Ryan here at Lakeside Studios. Welcome back.
Can I make it from latest to newest or?
Hey everybody, Ryan here at Lakeside Studios.
Wow, nice. Yeah, let's go back to the beginning. Why is one hidden? Okay, TS808 versus Boss SD1. So is the SD1 is different than the DS1? What is? I thought that this one. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just watch this. I actually want to know this. So this is Lakeside Studios. TS808 versus Boss SD1. Who's the king of clipping diodes? So I guess are these soft clippers or hard clippers? I don't know.
Here at Lakeside Studios, welcome to a new show all about pedals. Not a particular pedal show. I'm calling it Pedal Head. Hope to make several iterations of this series. I think there are going to be some fun stuff in it. It's going to be part review, part shootout, mostly just a celebration of gear. Plenty of testing, plenty of head-to-head type apples versus apples tests, which I think will be valuable. And this series, this video in particular, is going to be extremely long. So grab some popcorn, get comfortable, and hope that the YouTube algorithm doesn't just destroy any hopes of this video getting popular at all, since it is going to be so long. Let me get out of the way real quick. I'm fighting off a cold. I know I sound like absolute ass. I've got enough of a cocktail over here to hopefully, you know, overdose even a SoundCloud rapper, so I should be able to make it through this video. I feel okay today. So yeah, without further ado, we will be starting off with probably the most iconic of the most iconic kind of pedal for guitars, and what better a way to begin a series. So we're going to be talking about the Ibanez Tube Screamer 808 and the Boss Super Overdrive SD1. And kind of representing each team, the Boss SD1, this is the, you know, just kind of the run-of-the-mill production version. It's not the Wazacraft. It's not the original version.
So crazy how people like, argue over what year this pedal was made. I know sometimes there's differences, and yeah, like a 1974 Charger was a total piece of crap compared to a 1970 Charger, but you know, sometimes these guys are just making stuff up.
I don't remember what date this was made in particularly. It's not old, but it's not brand new either. For the Tube Screamer, this is the Mini. And you know, some people are like, oh, it's not the real thing. It's the real thing. As with any mass manufactured pedal, you are going to get some variants. So, you know, the little tests I'm running here, it may not be exactly the same sound you're getting out of, you know, say your Super Overdrive. The tone at 9 o'clock may not be perfectly what the tone at 9 o'clock on your pedal is, because there are, you know, different errors associated with all the components of the circuitry. As such, I think that because of the 10% resistance error, you can actually get two TS808s that sound more different than a baseline 808 versus a TS9. So with all that said, it's going to be close. It's going to be a good generalization, I think, for both representatives here, but just realize it's not going to be perfect. But I have so many test iterations, so many tracks I recorded, it would be impossible to, you know, grab 5 of these pedals and try to average it all out, at least for one person to do it. So take all this with a grain of salt, but it is exactly what I'm getting with my pedals. It just may not be perfectly what you're getting for yours. Because we are using the Mini, which does use the same circuit, it does use the same chip, all that good stuff. The only thing is that the gain knobs and tone knobs aren't going to be in the same position as far as like physical location, but they'll be, you know, marked the same depending on what test. So we have 8 different tests to put them head to head, including a little section where I'll kind of show the range of each pedal, including the level, drive, and tone. Before we get into all of that, I think it's important to take a couple minutes to discuss the design philosophies between these two pedals, their similarities, their differences, and kind of, I think, some of the preconceptions that surround both of the designs. So the granddaddy of kind of all of these pedals is indeed the Maxon Ibanez Tube Screamer 808. And both of these pedals are clipping diode pedals. You might have heard that term before. So when you turn up this overdrive or gain, basically what you're doing is letting more of the signal bleed into this clipping diode chip. And depending on which pedal you get, depending on which clone
Depending
or
on
which
which,
tube screamer,
which way they're doing this, a diode clipper, a diode. Let's see if somebody's got a picture here. Let me show you what a diode does. The diode is just a little piece of gear, and it's represented by this like arrow thing with the line here. Basically, what it does is it only allows current to flow one way, and it's funny because people talk about how pure their tone is with tubes and stuff, and they go throw this transistor pedal in front of it, you know. So when you hear this tube versus transistor wars from all the alleged experts, just know that they're more nose. They're still putting transistors in front of their stuff. But a diode, let's see if I can find a waveform. So if you only, it only allows like positive to go through or negative to go through. So if you have an alternating current, you know, here's your sine wave here, it's alternating current, up and down, positive then negative, positive then negative. Put it through a diode and it's going to knock out half of them. And so I have a feeling that, so here's a clipper and a clamper. So I have a feeling that the way this thing is working is that you've got a signal in parallel, and maybe that knob is maybe mixing them together, or because you're not just knocking out half the waveform, you're doing something to it. So here's one where they're clipping at a certain level. Let's see how this one works. But anyway, you know how a diode works. It's just going to let positive or negative through. And maybe you could wire them up, two of them backwards in parallel, and you clip both sides. So let's see how this goes.
Variant, it's going to be a different type of chip, and of course audiophiles and guitar pedal enthusiasts have their favorites out of each one depending on what response it gives. But that's basically what you're doing. You're adding some clipping before you push the front end of an amplifier, and that can be really useful for several reasons. So originally it was kind of just to add dirt to an already clean amplifier. So you have you know, a really high headroom fender and you need kind of a second channel in a way, then you can just turn this on and now you got, you know, something for lead. You just add a little bit of dirt like Stevie Ray Vaughan, or you can just turn it, you know, ridiculously high into something that's maybe kind of mid-gainy and, you know, get it into some really saturated overdrive. The more contemporary use case, though, for us high gain players was kind of discovered back in the probably late 70s.
Right, so here you go. If you don't know this, most of the time that you see these distortion pedals being used nowadays, when you talk about these, like, you know, the guys running the shred amps, this thrash, whatever, the super high gain stuff, is you're using, just like Randy Rhoads did, you're using the distortion pedal allegedly as a high pass filter. You're actually just taking out some of the low mud, and you could do the same thing with an EQ, honestly. And so a lot of these guys are barely using it with the distortion on at all, and they're just using it as an EQ, as a high-pass filter. And really, I seen somebody was helping with something on the Helix forum, or some forum that had Helix stuff, and he said, why you even bother with that? Just use a tilt EQ, and there's something to be said for that. So
these early or ridiculously high into something that's maybe kind of mid-gainy, and, you know, get it into some really saturated overdrive. The more contemporary use case, though, for us high gain players was kind of discovered back in the probably late 70s, early 80s, was if you take a reasonably high gain amplifier, but maybe it was too loose the bottom end, and, you know, you didn't have all the definition in the highs, didn't have the crunch, then you can actually take one of these, and you don't even need that much dirt, but you crank the level, you crank the tone, and you turn this thing into what is essentially mostly a sculpted clean boost. And it's kind of a flaw in the circuit design, but it's actually one that we emulate a lot in, again, a lot of overdrive pedals, a lot of clean boosts to attain that sort of nice mid-boost sound you get out of a tube screamer or a super overdrive when they're in basically this position here. Tone crank, level cranked, no overdrive. That's kind of the modern sound. So what happens there is you roll off a lot of the bass end, you get this middle hump around the 700, 900, 1000 hertz region. Again, it differs depending on the pedal.
Okay, so
And
here's
you know,
the other
it
thing.
articulates a
So
lot of that
these
metal.
guys talk about all this perfectly transparent. It's so smooth and clean, and it doesn't mess with your signal. This is what they're doing, man. I mean, look, this is really it. If you guys know what it looks like when you play with the wah-wah, this is what you're doing. I mean, in this case, it's not that peaky, but it's still peaky. Look at this. They talk about how the much the highs are mattering and stuff. Look, it just rolls them off, man. It gives you, this is a wah-wah, you know?
Metal guitar tone that we like to hear. The Super Overdrive does a lot of the same stuff. One of the differences is the active band that both is rolled off on the bass as well as pronounced in the mids is different according to the Fractal Audio models. The Tube Screamer is a lot more defined as far as it's a lot more squashed. The Super Overdrive has quite a bit wider band, which makes it a bit more aggressive sounding. This makes it more of that kind of half-cocked wah thing, which may or may not be good depending on what you're going for. And the other major difference between the two is symmetrical versus asymmetrical clipping. The easiest way to visualize this is with the waveform.
So here's your regular sine wave. Here's symmetrical clipping. You're clipping the same kind of thing on both excursions, and asymmetrical clipping, where one side's getting clipped differently than the other.
So it kind of is what it sounds like. On symmetrical clipping, you know, you got either soft clipping, hard clipping going on the wave, but it's the same on the crest and trough. So there's actually a really good example on this test. I think it's test number 1. If I can find it, I'll throw it up here, where the waveform is almost perfectly sinusoidal. You got some soft clipping going on the crests and troughs, but otherwise it's like perfectly symmetrical. The bottom looks the same as the top. There's basically no other harmonic content going on. The Super Overdrive, on the other hand, uses asymmetrical clipping, meaning that the crests and troughs of the waveform aren't the same.
Okay, so you see this? Kind of rounded on the top, much sharper rounding on the bottom.
One that's hard clipping versus the other, but it does result in a different sound. And actual real tube amps asymmetrically clip. And that's kind of the design philosophy around this in terms of pairing it with a real tube amp. They both have advantages and disadvantages. They sound better in some applications versus others. And a lot of Tube Screamer mods actually, or even clones, have a switch that you can turn on and off to make it asymmetrically clip or symmetrical, if depending on the application, which one you want. So that's basically the major design differences. There's output differences. There's the range of the tone, the range of the gain. All those things are dependent on the rest of the circuitry. But for the most part, that's pretty much it.
It just doesn't sound that distorted anymore. Ooh, yeah, I wanted to find out if I could do a remote switch for one of the pedals. I don't think anybody's actually answered me.
So with that, let's get on to the first round of testing. For each of these, we're going to be testing 3 permutations of pedal settings. I felt like it wasn't going to be all that valuable if I just sat there and, swept over and over. I thought I would use 3 of the settings that I go to the most, kind of sits in that more common area, and you'll be able to tell the gain and output differences between the two a little bit more easily. So one of the more common versions is that clean boost type setting we had with max level, no drive, almost max tone. I got kind of a classic crunch thing where everything is, kind of close to the noon. And then we've got a little bit more definition on the higher frequencies and turning down the drive for that kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan type sound. And of course, I'm not trying to make these two sound the same. I could dial them in closer to one another. The point is to highlight those differences. And 3 repetitions on all of these tests was more than plenty of work for me. Trust me, this took all day one day. So, there's other things I could test, but I feel like this gives a pretty good insight into that. So each one of these tests, we're gonna be using a guitar that I feel like is suitable for the job. We're going to be using an amplifier and settings that, again, I think is suitable for the genre or the play style. This first one's going to be kind of a bluesy thing on a clean setting, classic country, classic rock type sound, and we'll be running that through a 2x12 impulse response. And all of this, every one of these tests are re-amped using this bad boy here. That way,
funny, for the most part, people just accept impulses as being just as good as speakers, if not better. And that took that was a long battle, wasn't it? And for some of you guys may not know, toot my own horn here, which was going to seem stupid given the state of the market now, because I'm not really even in it. But as far as I know, it was either me or Beam Sonic that put out the very first guitar cabinet impulses. And way back then, I thought, imagine if people ever really accept this kind of technology. And I wasn't really sure that impulses were all that close to speakers anyway, even though it sounded like it to me, but I wasn't sure. And people just told me I was dumb for bothering with that kind of stuff. And now, it's it's a whole genre of business all by itself. If I really stuck with it, maybe that'd be the name brand for it now. There's still people who use my old impulses, if you've ever tried them. So I still have people telling me about it or sending me albums that they use it on and stuff. But there's so much better stuff. I don't even use my impulses anymore. I use the Celestion ones. I know other people use other things, but I use the Celestion one more than anything. 212 closed, low gain all room mono. That's the one I use more than anything. Low gain all room mono or plus room mono. I don't know. That one I use more than any other impulse. And it's just funny to think that maybe I could have made minimum wage or something. Well, my old life anyway. Okay, let's go on with this.
There's no differences in playing. You're hearing the exact same loop played over and over. That way you hear exactly what this pedal is doing versus the other. So with that, test number 1. that demonstration highlights quite a few things that I don't think you'd necessarily be able to hear in some higher gain applications. And first of which, the Super Overdrive definitely, to my ears, does sound more like a, you know, crackling higher gain amplifier. The Tube Screamer is a lot smoother. Not saying that's not a bad thing here. And in fact, I prefer the tones out of the Tube Screamer on practically all of this because I feel it is more suited for that sort of smoother, sweeter tone. But this sounds more like an amplifier the higher gain you go. This also shows that it has a bit of a higher headroom, or at least the potentiometers are tapered in a way that at the same settings there is more gain on this pedal. You can certainly hear the bass response fall off a lot more dramatically on the Super Overdrive, which makes the Tube Screamer sit a lot better in the mix, even though there's no mix here. But I think it, you know, does make a fuller guitar tone, and when you're using single coil pickups that already are kind of sparkly, I think it is a better pairing here with the Tube Screamer. I do kind of like the widened mid response you get out of the Super Overdrive, but again, it doesn't really fit in this category to my ears. I'm so used to that sort of Stevie Ray Vaughan crunchy blues sound that the Tube Screamer, to me, for this application, wins hands down. Of course, the higher you turn up this overdrive, the 808 does start to sound muffled, but I feel there's a lot better ways to achieve that level of gain than using one of these pedals, so kind of a moot point to me. But it does show that things do start to get a little fuzzy, a little fizzly the higher you go on the gain setting on this particular pedal. So for my money, I would say that the Tube Screamer 808 won that round pretty handily for that use case, although I'm surprised that the Super OD handled it so well, considering that there is some sort of stigma or preconception that this thing doesn't do cleans at all or doesn't do it well. So I was kind of impressed because I usually never use this pedal for that use case, but still I prefer the Tube Screamer for that one. So let's move on to some more
honest
mid-gain
thing. You know, knowing that, being able to be honest enough with yourself and everybody else that your preconceived notions may have been wrong. You know, you turns out you learned something. There's nothing wrong with that. That's really the sign of actually learning something and getting some research done. So it's a good thing when you were wrong. You get to be right later on, or you get to be less wrong next time, or you just learn something new that you can use.
Type scenarios, kind of boosting that sort of, you know, turned up loud plexi amp type sound. And we'll be also using similar type of guitar, except going through a 4x12 impulse response this time, and same settings on both pedals. Now we're starting to get into some territory where I think the Super Overdrive really starts to shine. If you're playing in a live scenario, it's probably not going to be all that noticeable, but at least in a recorded application, I feel like the SD1 really brings out that cranked plexi sound that sits better in the mix with a more classic sounding bass guitar. Although again, it's kind of a toss-up. It's going to really come down to your personal preferences. But I think that asymmetrical clipping starts to come out here where this plays nicer with a higher gain amplifier. And to me, this does still have that sort of muffled quality at the same settings. It's not to say that you can't turn up the tone or the level, turn down the overdrive to bring it more in line with the SD1, but at the same settings. That's kind of what I'm hearing. So objectively, sort of a toss-up. I think they both do their job well here. You do sacrifice, again, some of the low end with this pedal, but you know, they both do an admirable job. Personally, I would take the SD1 for this application, but if you're playing that sort of classic sounding rock and roll, you probably also need this sort of smoother overdrive sound over top of it.
Second, so wow, this is kind of crunchy. It's not spinning around as easily as it should, but that's okay. I think this is right. There's a little bit of gap here, but I don't think that's gonna matter. Looks like I'm able to hold this in pretty damn good now. Gonna put this back together. Okay, so the other thing is, I have no idea how this happened. Very frustrating to me. Somebody took some screws out of the tom here. Like, I don't even explain this one. These screws. I was trying to tighten up the toms and I was seeing it wobbling around. I'm like, why is this wobbling? And then I noticed, sure enough, somebody had taken the screws out. Alright, well, I should really Loctite these. And I honestly should just red Loctite these, but I think the Loctite is just out now. Let's see. I got some more screws from the hardware store. They're not exactly the same screws, but they should work. I'm gonna Loctite them. But I think I might be completely out of Loctite now at this point. Like a drip on there. That's not much. I don't know. It may not work at all. Get a little bit on this one. This stuff costs so much money now. And now what? There's no Loctite company now? We call it Loctite, but I think Permatex bought them all. This is out. This is really something I need for my bike, so I gotta go get some more Loctite. I hate paying for it, man. It's so much money. But whatever. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. So I thought it was way earlier in the day, and here I am taking the drum set apart. I'm just hoping no teacher's got to teach in there right now. But I'll have them back together in a second. There. All right. Well, all right, I'm gonna go put the school back together. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. See you later. Maybe we'll watch some more of this pedal thing with Plague Site Studios later. That's actually pretty cool. See you later. Oh, and I'm gonna go over to Times Supermarket and get Hawaiian food Monday. Yay!